Good morning, hello. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday today, right? Yes, Thursday. I've streamed every weekday this week, including, well, except Sunday, I guess. But that was a special circumstance. So far I'm happy I've been able to get up every day. Yesterday we were able to get the input, the input type text into our screen, and we were able to actually send an event up to the parent component through a callback function, sort of React style, which I thought was really nice. And just my first thoughts of doing the callback style with I guess like here with with Yew is that it sort of feels like a blend between Vue and Yew. No, Vue and React. Oh man, I'm getting all the names confused. And the reason for that is because I emit it, and I can have optional ones. And I guess like maybe it's the really strong typing system. So now, of course, we want to style this. So we want an input to essentially have a label that goes on top of it. We want this to be a little bit bigger, and I guess it's probably the biggest thing. Okay, so we have this text input wrapper. I want you to be okay. We need to set up styles. So this is going to be the style sheet. I want to say that it's the CSS, but you can't find it. Hold on. Footer. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So style sheet equals the CSS. We get the CSS from Stylus, and then we can just do classes style sheet. Okay. And then we can just throw our styles in here, however we want this to be. So in this case, I want our label to be on top and our input to be down below that. We don't need this p tag at all. Which means we don't need use state. We just need this on change. So I'm actually just going to rename this to be onChange, is going to be a callback. So that is going to make it required. Okay, so we clone our props. Do I really need to clone it? I think I do because I'm doing a move. What if I don't do a move? Does that still work? So in that case, can I still have you be props? gonna be on change now. We don't have this data. Okay, yes, that was because we had internal state using useState. That's why we needed the clone. But we don't really need that because we're going to emit out using this callback, which is passing everything by reference. So that's cool. So let's see. Props, callback from. Okay, so I don't need to do this. Okay, so on change, callback from, we get our event. If let some element that the target bind into, we get this. Value, because input element value, props on change, did emit. I don't need to clone the value because I'm only using it once. Otherwise, we console log this error, and then we have our style sheet. Okay, so that cleans this up pretty significantly. So then, okay, so let's see what we can do about our styles. So first of all, I want the label to go up above our text. Like in a way, I kind of want it to look like, let's see, let's go find, oh, I don't even have a label for each of these. Let's see, if I wanted to do a label, we could do it ahead of it, or we could do it above it. I usually like to see them above it in most applications. So to do a column, we're going to take this div and we're going to make these, let's see, display flex. Then I want to display direction, I think. So flex direction. Flex direction is Togglebit with the raid. Welcome, 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 raiders, and welcome Togglebit. Hello, hello. Hello, Andriel. Togglebit, how was your stream? You were I was watching you a little bit before I started. You were working on testing some more of your widget stuff. Raid and run again. Well, have a good one. Have a good meal, and I guess I'll just see you next time I'm looking on your channel. You made great progress. Oh, that's great. Awesome. Full 1E5. Hello. So today, well, if it's the first time you're hanging out with me today, welcome, welcome. I do a lot of, well, I mean, sometimes I do some game dev, but most of the time, recently I've been doing some web dev stuff. Toggle raid, indeed, yes. So we're building a to-do app in Yew.rs. It's very similar to a React front-end framework. And in previous streams, I created an entire sort of like back-end system with Node.js, Postgres, and Vue.js in order to sort of like then rebuild that in Yew.rs, and then we're going to choose some backend framework to sort of build the backend in. It's going to become a course that I have on YouTube, at least the Yew.rs front end one. So this is the old one. This is the one in what is it called? in Vue.js. And this is what we're sort of like experimenting with in Yew.rs. It's like Yew and Vue are so similar. It's like, I'm gonna mix those up so much. So yesterday we figured out how to get inputs to emit up data to the parent components. And we're using a callback function very similar to how React works. We sort of like pass a callback function down to the child component. When it has like a state change or something happens, it then calls that and passes the data in. Okay, great. So here we're doing the, now I want to style it. So we are using a library called Stylus, which allows us to create a styled component. And now this is where it sort of like wraps back around and becomes similar to Vue again, because now we're going to create the styles inside the same file as the as the rest of the component. So it's, you know, CSS in Rust, which is super interesting to think about. So here we can create that. If you're not familiar with, you can create stirs very easily in Rust with just this R# toggle here. It's actually really cool. So I'm creating the style sheet for this. Now notice I'm not like selecting any CSS classes. That's because if I don't do that, it applies to the tag I set the style sheet to. If I do set those, then I need like another wrapper div around it all. So as long as I don't have to style these individually, then we'll be fine. We'll see how that works. Are CSS and HTML Yew things? No. Well, okay, wait. Yes and no. So also, hello, Epic Blarg. So CSS is a macro that comes from Stylus. And then I can use that because I'm using this styled component, which comes also from Stylus. So Stylus has an entire Yew section to it where it works very closely with Yew. HTML macro that allows me to write essentially the equivalent of JSX in Rust comes from Yew. So that's right here. That's the macro that I'm using for that. Both of them are really cool macros, and I really like them a lot. Of course, Yew and Stylus aren't popular enough yet, so nobody's written anything to like detect, hey, you've got HTML inside of your Rust code. Let's go ahead and get Emmet in there and add good styling and everything else. So colors are going to be a little bit weird. No autocomplete. It's not that great. We could totally create templates and include them as files and then go with them. And maybe one of them we'll try that out and see how it feels, but it's not necessary at all. Okay, let's see. I'm flexing direction in a column. So I want to start with this. So we're going to do, so I think it's class equals, and then inside of this like JSX type thing, if I want to put any kind of like Rust code or reference any variables, I just use single mustache, which I think is slightly different than JSX. I think that's double curly brackets, if I remember correctly. It certainly is in Vue. But that's even the case when it's inside of a tag like this. So do that, and then I want to grab this. So this is classes macro, and then I pull in the style sheet. So this allows me to have multiple of them together. Also, I need to import classes. Okay, so back to you. Did you take? I don't see that this is, I don't see that that worked. Let's see, we have the style sheet here. We have flex direction. I put this div right above these labels. So that should be this div right here. That didn't work. Now, this style sheet is super interesting. Even though I've defined it up here, they all show up in the head of the document like it should. And here they are. So I can see like, okay, here's the style. And it's just appending it to a single style sheet. Is that true? Or is it creating new ones? I'm not sure. It might be creating new styles. So I don't think this actually took. Let's go take a look at link wrapper, because that one we got working properly. So style sheet equals CSS. We do this. We create that. We do class equals classes and then the style sheet. That's kind of what we did. Class equals. I think I can also just do this. I think this also works, or supposedly works. But let's double check. I am an input. Throw a test in there. Ooh, okay, so that did not update. So this is, it's not updating properly. Do I need to restart you? Okay. Hard refresh. New window. Oh, I have an error. Okay. I have 2 errors, which is causing it to not compile, and that's the problem. So no field on input change on type. Okay, so. Oh, text field, input wrapper. This is, oh, and this is in a completely different component. We have this error. So any error unfortunately makes the entire thing not compile, which is not great. Not surprising because, you know, it's Rust. Okay, so you're yelling at me that on input change here, no field on input change on type, input wrapper props. Oh, on change, you're right. So I renamed it. So on change equals to that. Oh, wait. Okay. I think it's. I think it's that. Okay, 1 error. Oh, I thought I can get away with not cloning props, but it looks like borrow data escapes outside of associated function. Props escapes the associated function body here. Props is a reference. There's only, okay, so I think what I need to do is, okay, I was hoping that I could get away from not doing a move, but I think what we need to do is essentially just props equals props.clone. Consider borrowing here. Cloned props. We have that props, and we use cloned props. Oh, let. Okay, now it's happy. So I was really hoping that I can get away from that. I can just like use a reference to it. Behind the scenes, the callback in here is actually stored in an RC. So RC in a ref cell, I think, which is why I can clone it, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be the exact same stuff. It's actually going to be the real properties that are being passed in. All right, so back here is my, I am an input test. This is my label. And then my input down here, that's great. I then want to make that a little bit bigger, which does mean that I want to select the input and then state, okay, I want you to be, do I say a font height? Font size? Of like, I don't know, 50? I do, that's a little big. So if we go up into the head here, we can see here is the last style we just added. And so we, wait, no, it's one of these other ones. Put them in a different order. So here's the style sheet that we just added. We can see it adds this like dot stylist with like a random string in front of it. So that's like they're properly scoped styles to each component, which is actually really nice. So stylus, this, display flex direction. Okay, so that's why it's then going down like that. And then my input is obviously just targeting this. So it's gonna look a little bit weird because everything inside of the stylist, you have to pretend it has this like dot stylist dash whatever before it. And then like with this. All right, so back to you. I want to see what is going to feel right. Probably like 32. Now, what are you? Font inherent, great. Font is inherent for everything. Oh, come on. Somewhere's, I set the font somewhere. $50 pixels here. I mean, 50 pixels felt a little bit big, didn't it? But when looking at it, I don't know, that might actually be the same size. It's like one of those things where I'm looking at it, it's like, is that really, are there really like parallel lines in there? Is it really the same size or the same color? I don't know. It's an optical illusion. Probably because of the background of this. I can also create a little bit of padding to give a little bit of space between the sort of like the white background of the text input. Let's do like 5 pixels. I think 5 would be enough. Yeah, I think 5 is fine. And perhaps changing the color of the background would be really nice too. Let's find one that looks good. I don't want to use gray. Like we can use this dark green. Or I guess like dark sea green. That might be good. Gray is just gonna trick people into thinking that it's disabled, which is not what we want. This one could be good too, light blue. Let's choose light blue. Okay, awesome. Then, okay, so we have a label for this specific thing. I probably want to put a little bit of margin all around the entire thing, so you can just tell that it's like its own thing. So that would be up here. We want a margin of like 10 pixels. So that moves it down from everything else and a little bit out from the side. And then I think we're good. So if I put anything in here and then I leave it so the onChange event fires, we get that console logged out. That console log is happening here in the home component, which is I'm calling this text input wrapper. Passing in the callback function, which is just using a log macro, which I get from the glue library. If you're interested in like web development with Rust, and glue is an amazing crate. It just makes everything easy. It's way easier than like a lot of the other older tutorials out there of like, okay, now it's like pull in console, pull in log, and then like you start to use that and like you have to do everything else. It's just like, nope, here, just pull in log and use it. Also, you can pass it multiple things because macro, it's magic. Okay, so now let's say like we're here at home. Home is, let's see, I think that's kind of it. So like if I go back to my original, oh, I want a whatever these are called. I always forget. They're like the little preview things that show up when you haven't got anything typed in. Let's see. Put an input. Okay, we have our change. That's gonna be a preview. Okay, fine. I'll look it up. MBN placeholder. Yes, thank you. That's it too. Thank you. Yes, placeholder equals. Oh, and I need to pass in the input as a label. That's the other thing. So in here, we're gonna do a pub label. Okay. So pub label, and do I want you to be required? Let's say that it is required, but let's say that the placeholder is an option. String inside. Okay, so label will obviously be props.label. This placeholder though, I want to use the I want to use the placeholder if we have it, and if we don't have it, I want the label. And I think what I can do is... Oh, what is it called? It's, we can do props dot placeholder. Now that's an option. So there's like an unwrap or else. I never remember which one I want to do. Unwrap or, and then, oh, a default, a string. Okay, so then this is going to be props dot label. And then back to here. Okay, so you're yelling at me because on chain. So I find it very interesting. No method on change. On change is right there. Okay, so I think it's a little bit confused here. I need a label. And so this can be just like form input. Yeah, so there's still some questionable error messages on that. So it thought that like there wasn't an on change when it really was that I was not hitting all of the required properties. And you notice I don't have to put the other one in. So we should see form input in both the placeholder position and the label. What are you yelling about? Oh, is this going to be a cannot move? Okay. Because strings don't implement copy, so I can clone you. Cannot move out of process placeholder. So do I need to clone you too? Kind of surprised I need to clone this one as well, but let's do it. Use of unwrapped. Okay. Okay, you want this to be an unwrapped or else with a function. Okay. Unwrap or else. And if I remember correctly, the unwrap or else will not pull this unless it's absolutely necessary, and the unwrap or will always pull this even if it's a sum. So that actually might make it not need to be a clone, maybe. It would yell at me if it did. Okay, so here's our form input and our placeholder form input. So then I want to come back to here and say, now we want a placeholder to be separate. Placeholder is going to be, I am a form input. All right. I like it. Now, as you can probably imagine, I am more on the developer side than the design side, so please forgive any terrible design decisions that I make in the process of this. Okay, so that is a form input. I think that's about wrapped up just for the input itself. What I do want to do is practice storing everything into like some kind of state. There is no global state library like Redux in Yew yet. They're working on it. So instead, the plan is to go to the main app, which I have in lib, and I'm going to put state inside of here. So there is a use state. So I think we can do like let state equals the use state hook will have an init function, and I need to return a new, okay, so I need I probably want kind of some kind of state, because I could just do like a string that holds this text input. But if I want like more of these things, then I need more. So let's do, I don't think it needs to be public. Let's find out. We're gonna have a struct. Oh, I bet it does. This is gonna be a struct, I guess, like main state. Oh, app state. I'll just call this form input. You're gonna be a string. I guess we'll start you with an empty string. Okay, so I have this state here, and now I have methods on it for like getting and setting this stuff. So right now it has this form input. I need these functions to pass in. So I need to create the callback functions here for updating this state. So let's do like a let on form input change callback from. We're gonna get some kind of value from it. So in like a real app, we'd probably know exactly what this is. It's a username. It's something else. This is like, we're still working with like a very generic, working with sort of like atomic components that we don't know how they're going to be used yet. I mean, we have a good idea of how we're using, but like for this specific experiments, we're just building out the components themselves without any reason for them to exist yet. Okay, so I have this value come in here, and then we're going to use state.set. Do I have to do a move? I got rid of it all. Let's go look at the documentation. Yes. Okay, so they do this block thing. So I'm not entirely used to like the idea of like just doing a block for this, but it totally makes sense. So first of all, we're going to clone that state. So let state equals state.clone. Now we have this in here, and we can do a set. And So counter is this. Then we just do a set, and we're going to put something inside of here, so the value. But it's probably not going to be the value, right? We need to grab the entire form out. So I guess that's one question, is like, in React, I'm used to creating like a use state with like an object in it that all the state goes onto, and sort of like creating my own sort of Redux type thing where there's like a single store. But I suppose that we could just have a use state separately for every little piece of the app too. And I don't necessarily know what the best practice is for this. It's still like really new in Yew. And of course, I haven't like looked at modern use state in React in a while, so I'm not actually familiar where everybody ended up on. So in this case, I would probably need to get the state. Yeah, okay, so I'd need to get the state first. So get this app state. So this is gonna be our app state equals state.get. Oh, it's just a dereferenced. Okay, that makes it a little bit happier. It doesn't know what this value is. So in this case, we know you're going to be a string that's coming in. I suppose also, like, do I want to just take ownership of it? Do I want to just clone this? Oh, but that gives me a use state handle. Do I have to do like... let's see. As ref handle? No, I probably want to like... That's dereffing the... Well, that gives me that. Okay. Closure may outlive the current function, but it borrows state. Also, I cloned. Oh, I need to move. I want to like get the thing out. Do I need to do this in like 2 steps? Because like that feels really weird. Like, do I need to do this? Okay, so you don't implement clone. It's a little bit odd. So I dereference out of state to get access to the app state. I then clone it. And then we're going to reset what that state is going to be. I don't know if that's a best practice for this or not. This feels more like what we would do with something like Redux. Some kind of like centralized store where we just want to do immutable everything to it. So we're just constantly cloning and copying the state and then like resetting what that's going to be. And I wonder if I can get a mutable reference to it too. Okay, let's try this first, then I want to play with around a little bit. Okay, so we have that mute at state. I then want to say app state, form input, and we're going to set you to the value. This is where I need to make you public. Oh, and then I want to state set, and then this is going to be the app state. Redundant clone. Do you implement copy? I wonder if it does. So then in that case, do I not need this? I might. KO2 fan, hello. It is going well. We were able to get inputs working, and now we're working on sort of like figuring out centralized state management. Okay, so we're gonna have to pass in properties to our router and then have that accessed inside of here. So we haven't tried that yet. Not seen the section on properties. No, I do not. Okay. Query parameters is not necessarily what I want to do. I want to be able to pass in properties. They don't have anything in their documentation for that, which is not great. Okay, so here's browser router, then they have like main, and they have footer stuff going in here, but these are all gonna show, I think. Whereas this is where everything else is gonna be. Okay, but that's not... Okay, so then we have a route. Here's the route, so we can just try something. See if it works. see, in the main library, I want to pass a property into I guess I can't. I'm sort of thinking about how Vue.js does it, where I can put it's like the opposite direction. I can pass stuff in. That means the app needs to be aware of like what's going inside of it, which I guess works. But down below, so I don't think I can do something like testing equals hi. I don't think I can do this. Yeah, okay, so switch props. Available fields are render. So here's route, here's the switch props. I don't see render here. Can I do something like besides an enum here? So could I do both? Could I basically have properties? So can I have like pub struct route props, and then I want like the route table. So that would be route pub route is route, and then I want just like, I don't know, that the hello. So like testing is a string. So then you would be my props. You'd be the route props. I'm going to match props dot root, and everything else remains the same. Back to here. Okay, so because okay, this is the render that it has. This probably won't work then, will it? So then I want route props inside of here. So I'm gonna pull in, okay, so render equals switch render switch. Props. Ooh, you don't know how to pull that in. You are public, okay. Use. We could just use this other one. Okay, so I want route props. Route becomes this. Testing becomes like hello. Then you close and you close. The trait into prop value route is not implemented. Oh, so I think that's not gonna work for us. So we're probably gonna have to do a little bit more message passing Angular style than sort of like prop drilling React style. There is a way to do that using these agents, which we haven't played with yet. Okay, so we can use there is no use bridge. We found that out yesterday when we had like briefly looked at this, is that the documentation is a little bit wrong here. I can't actually like that doesn't exist. Use bridge doesn't exist. Oh. With this pub sub, okay, so we have a model. Okay, so this is just a traditional sort of like the equivalent of a class-based model in React. So it has a constructor, it has the render function, the view. Okay, producer and subscriber. So if we look at producer, same idea here. Okay, so it has a message, which is an enum. Okay, has clicked in it, just a single thing. Oh, and the entire producer component stores away this event bus dispatcher, which is created here. Okay, so event bus dispatcher, which comes from Yew agent. Okay, different crate. Then an update. Okay, so in the view here, we have our button. On click, we use a callback. The call message clicked. This type of message is just inside of a single component itself. They seem to be moving away from this style of working towards the functional component method. The callbacks that we saw I do. And update here. Okay, we match this message. Okay, if it's clicked, we go into the event bus and we send a request. That must come from the prelude. Event bus message received. The subscriber gets a producer that doesn't apparently care about. Okay, so on update here, match the message. Self message equals S. Okay, so we just, okay, so on a new message. I don't see how this is going to be like knowing which component is going to catch it. It seems to be like global. Be like all components see it. I think. Let's try it. So I need to store the dispatcher for this. Now, where do I put this? Probably in all of the... So I probably need a page component, which are going to be my views, that the router holds. And then they emit these events out to... They dispatch events or messages, and then the main app catches those and sort of like deals with them. That means home is going to be where we put this. So we're going to use state here. And in this case, I want you to be this event bus. So we want this to be a dispatcher. Oh, we need Yew agent. That's why. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Docker compose. Want to exec into, I think it's Rust Yew. Bin bash. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And do cargo add Yew agent. And is it exactly Yew agent like that? It's Yew dash agent. Yes, Yew dash agent. Oh, I don't have cargo add in here? Oh, well, then never mind. Okay, 010. Okay, you're ready. Import dispatcher from Yew agent. Okay, so oh, it's this one. Okay, so we're gonna store event. Oh, event bus dispatcher. Use create event bus. Is event bus part of you? So hold on. Okay, use crate from uStack. I'm gonna, oh, okay. Where are you coming from? Actually, this is still part of you. Okay, so is that, you should have it. Macro, hello. You want to learn Rust, but you struggle to find the value proposition for a lot of things. If you like, it's one of those things where like, if you want to learn it, just learn it, right? If you don't have time to learn it and you want to learn it, then like that could be like, then you have to like decide, okay, what are you not going to do, right? Like economy of choice. I forget what it's called, where you're you have to make the decisions of like what you don't do, and like that has a cost too. So it's like the value proposition of Rust is changes on like the use case. So like for a company like Microsoft, the value proposition of Rust is, you know, it helps reduce the bugs that they have due to memory errors. They did this huge big research to sort of like discover is, you know, why do they have all the bugs they have? And they discovered that a huge number of them were memory errors. They hire very good developers, but they still have these errors. So they're like, well, clearly we need some kind of language that helps us out with this. And Rust is the one that they've so far decided to go with. It's more like, it'll be lame to be able to do things in Rust, but my company will note that the cost of maintainability is too high. So that's an interesting thing. I don't think there's enough data yet to be able to make the call on the cost of maintaining Rust, because like it just hasn't been out there long enough. So I don't know if we have any legacy Rust projects. But the theory is that maintaining Rust is going to be easier because the type system doesn't let you break stuff over something like JavaScript or PHP. Now, that being said, if you don't have anybody at your company that knows Rust, then yeah, like just saying, hey, we're building all this stuff in Rust is not gonna be viable. So I do know that there's been several people who have successfully got things to be done in Rust at their companies. And that usually starts with like, hey, I'm gonna build this like completely non-essential thing in Rust just because I want to. And then you do that and it works really well. I mean, hopefully. And then that could get people interested, and then it sort of like starts a slow movement that builds up. The talent is more expensive and the talent pool is hard to project. Yes. Now from the hiring manager point of view, sort of like put on my manager hat a little bit, the opposite is true too. If you want to hire the best, like the absolute best developers on the planet, sometimes you have to promise them that they can work in the code areas they want to work in. So if they want to learn Rust, you're going to get a different type, like a different talent of developer. They may not know it right now, but they will know it very quickly after you hire them. And they are often willing to work for less money because you're giving them that opportunity. So it could be the opposite. It could be less expensive in the short term before everyone else starts going with Rust. That being said, then you have to do everything in Rust. Like you can't just hire them, promise them Rust, and then not give them Rust. that's gonna result in a lot of bad feelings and the company being like trash talked a lot. But yeah, in the end, it's like there's a lot of opportunity cost that needs to be considered here, and it's very careful, and it's going to be very hard. Like, I myself would love to introduce it to my company, but it's just like not right now. Oh wait, are you? Do I need a oh, do I need some kind of feature? I feel like cloud functions are the best way to introduce it. Isolated and a value prop has actual figures. That could be too. There's a, I can't remember where it is, but there's a green programming movement which is trying to like reduce cloud costs. And not just cost in like dollar ways, but like cost as in like how much electricity is it using, how much heat is your like Lambda function producing. And so if you have something that uses less CPU and takes less time and uses less memory and all that great other stuff, then not only will it be cheaper for you, it'll be better for the environment too. And Rust potentially could do something like that for you, except Rust doesn't have a native Lambda runner right now. So you'd have to write your own, which again drives you back into the custom sort of like coding environments, unless you use something like Fargate or you set your own system up using like EC2. And that's just talking about AWS. I haven't looked at the other big clouds and see like what they support. Okay, so the router, do they have examples? Let's see, where are the examples? There's just a single example. And it doesn't look like they're doing anything with properties here. Okay, let's see, in Yew, do you have... Okay, they have a Discord. What I might do is I might join their Discord and ask there, or I might take a look through their issues. Do they have like props? Router. I don't know if it's going to be properties or props. Use Discord is pretty helpful. Yeah, okay. So I might join that and ask them about props going down through router. Because if I can't do that, then the agent or messages of some kind is going to be the only way that I can think of. Yes, like this is the way I was doing it with the like home to the input is using like descendant to ancestor callback functions, and that's fine. When the components are not in the same VDOM tree for callbacks, yeah. Ooh, Yew.rs. Oh, there's a Yew.rs and also bounce. You can also use an RC closer or function. It does not implement partial equal by default. Yeah, I suppose that could be interesting. Now it is a global application state, which is like I'm not super thrilled about global application states, but it is pretty standard across most like React development. So I'm not surprised we're going there. So we probably put in some kind of like context that's going to be shared across all of the components. Okay, so we have our function components. Okay, then we use the use store. Oh, okay. So I can probably do this. Global state or state drilling. I might be able to do a combination. So here's what I'm thinking. If this works, like if we can use Yew.rs, and I'm gonna just go ahead and let's create a new bookmark folder here. Not a node. Come on. It's gonna be you. You get your own. Come on. Out. Why you do that? Oh, you won't let me move you? Ugh, fine. Fine. Okay, so you went in here. You come out here. There you go. Okay, so I have Yew.rs in here now. So we're gonna take a look at this. I think we can do like a hybrid. So the way I'm thinking about it is that we have this, think of it like a river that we can't pass. So we have on one side of the river, we have our like app. So that would be like the equivalent of like the app component in React. And then we have our top level router, and then view components that the router, so like entire page components that the router loads. And then those page components have child components, you know, potentially like really far nested down. But that top level router is really important here, and that river cannot be crossed by prop drilling. So if I use a global state, but I have an internal policy where only the view pages can access that global state and mutate it, so then they prop drill the rest of the way down. And then that allows us to sort of bridge that river between top level app and pages. I think that would work. I'm gonna think about that, and then if I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stream tomorrow because I have a doctor's appointment at like 8:45, and I have to like head out there around 8 o'clock. So the stream would be like less than an hour long. So I probably will skip stream tomorrow, even if I wake up on time. So my next stream is gonna be on Sunday morning, between 8 and 9 a.m. and we're gonna play around with this. So by then I should at least know a direction or two that I want to experiment with. So with that being all said and done, nobody I'm following is live right now for for a raid. So I'm just going to go ahead and let the random sort of Twitch decide what we're going to be watching next. So everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you have a great rest of your Thursday and a great rest of your week. And I will see you all next time, whenever that is. All right, have a good one. Bye.